Welcome back to 10 Cents Podcast. I'm your host, Robert Creout, and I have Adam Nilsson on Zoom. Like always, one day, you will be here with me. Not just Flatum, it'll be you.
I feel like we probably could at this point.
Yeah.
Because we went to Grid Life together, and
yeah, we were in close contact.
But it's like...
We had some like...
Still just not sure about it,
I get it. Plus, you're kind of busy, and if you're not in Des Moines on a Wednesday, it's kind of inconvenient, and you're not getting enough sleep the way it is.
Yeah.
So I don't blame us. But yeah,
so there's wins and loses on both sides, unfortunately. So
yeah, there is. But we've had a lot of wins. Things have been going pretty good, all things considered. We had a nice long weekend. I stayed super busy. Jess worked 3 nights in a row, which meant she slept 3 days in a row as well, which means I was alone for 3 straight days, basically. So I got a lot of shit done. We can kind of talk about that later, though. But yeah, just hanging out in the Kanga Motorsports studio. I haven't really plugged James in quite some time. He's been busy in what would be the inferno of California right now.
Yeah, hopefully he's
I haven't talked to him in a few days. I think
safe.
I think he's alive. I hope. Gosh, I don't know California, so I don't know how close the fires are. I just know that
right. Like,
I just assume that someone says California,
big.
Yeah, it's like half of Texas, so it's huge. You could drive
half
for
the size of this other state, so it's gigantic.
It's freaking massive. But yeah, but anyways, KangaMotorsports.com. I've been using his articles since he's been doing them. Yeah, they're really insightful. He's been writing for Speed Secrets for Ross Bentley, so if you get those as well, it's a lot of the stuff that he writes on Speed Secrets. He writes his own separate article and uses a lot of the same information. So like the notes, how to take better track notes, that's been extremely helpful. Just some stuff to think about before you get on track. So KangaMotorsports.com. As always, we like to support our friends, James. Anyways, Adam.
Heck yeah.
Should we
open it up?
Yeah, how do you feel about Open It Up? Which is presented by our friends Booney and Max. And, sorry, hold on. Screwing things up already.
Oh, man.
Booney over at Factory Fabrication. FactoryFabrication.com. If you can dream it, they'll make it. Ask me how I know.
Do you have things there right now or not yet?
No, not yet. I'm dropping the Z off after their last race of the season. So probably not until October.
Oh, okay.
But,
okay.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
So this week, anyway, we're going to talk about something I've been trying to get time to talk about, but we haven't had time here lately. Our Fantasy GP season. So for those of you not in the know, Fantasy GP is like fantasy football, but for Formula One.
Formula E.
We have our own little league.
Yep.
And I'm not doing well.
We should have done this a week ago. I was in first for many weeks, and then we do this the 1 week I dropped down to third.
I think last week kind of screwed everybody, though, didn't it?
No, because John and Alex went from like being behind me pretty comfortably, and then all of a sudden it's like, nope, leapfrogged. Welcome to third place, loser.
Yeah, but it's not like you're out of the fight.
No, I'm like...
You're only 9 points behind second. You're still up in there.
I'm on the podium. I mean, I'm like, oh, shit. I'm the Lance Stroll of our podcast group.
I'm fucking 20th, so I don't want to hear about it.
That's what you get for being so cocky last year about like, oh, I don't even like Formula One, and I'm in first.
It was 2 years ago, because last year I didn't do well either.
Oh, that's right. We've been doing this for 3 years. I forgot.
Yeah, this is the third year I've participated in it. So this year, my team choices have not been good, and the problem is so you get an amount of money you can spend at the beginning of the year. I don't even remember what the amount is. And you got to pick 3 drivers and 3 teams, right?
Yep.
And then drivers and teams are they have like an amount of money that they're worth based on, I think, kind of just like guesses for the season.
Yeah. So at the beginning of the season,
kind of interested to know how they do that.
So they almost treat it like a market value. So it's like the team's market value at the beginning of the season. So let's just say at the beginning of the season, Mercedes was worth, according to the league, like they were a $20 million team. So you could,
I can tell you exactly what they were worth: $27
million. So if you wanted to pick them, it was going to cost you from your purse or your bank or whatever, $27 million to have them on your team. And then depending on how they do, their value changes. So let's say you picked Ferrari at $18 million to start the season, and then they had the season that they're having. Their market value is probably like what, 9? So you would have lost.
Can't say for sure.
So you either would have to stick with them, or you sell them for a loss, and then you just totally shoot yourself in the foot for the remainder of the season. So if you were like really good at this, you could pick teams that were projected to have that had a smaller market value at the beginning of the season. So let's just say like a McLaren. So let's say that they had a market value of, I don't know, like a 15 million or whatever. And I don't think these are real numbers. I'm just kind of pulling things for an example. Let's just say they were worth 15 million at the beginning of the season. They were projected they're going to be 4th place, maybe 5th, 6th place. And then this season they've been doing pretty good. Their market value is going to be higher than 15 million, be closer to 18, 19. So if you wanted to buy them low, sell them high, and then use that to buy a different team that you're projected to do well later, you could continue to, or you could just pick teams that you think are going to do well all season, just stick to them no matter what. Like what I do.
So in years past, I've just left it alone because everybody that I was talking to, they would try and change, and that would end up just screwing them over.
Yep.
So right now I have, of the things that are of the market value versus the price paid for both the drivers and the cars, of the 6 that I have, only one is worth more than I paid for it. All the rest of them have lost a pretty decent amount of value, which means that I can't really fix this.
No, that's just it. Like, you have to have a good start to the season or you're screwed.
Yeah.
All of mine are worth more than I bought them for, with the exception of Mercedes. Mercedes is almost the same, if maybe a little less. But yeah, it's so like if I really wanted to start playing the game, I could sell or get rid of I'll just pull up my team because I don't really care.
Yeah, I have my team pulled up. It's not good.
Okay, so
I don't, because I'm doing so bad, I don't care. I have, for the cars, I have Mercedes, Renault, and Alfa.
Okay, so for mine, I had Mercedes, Red Bull, and Racing Point, and spent all my money on the teams, and spent less money on drivers. And obviously I picked Lando Norris because he's an international treasure. And then I picked Russell and Ocon. So every single one of them, so I bought, at the beginning of the season, Russell was worth $3.5 million. His market value is $5.5. Norris is $7.5, market value of $9. Ocon, $7 with a market value of $8. And then Racing Point was, price paid was $8.5, market value $12.5. Yeah, so Mercedes is the only one that's dropped for me. So it's 27 was what I paid. Market value is 25.5. So I had a good start to the season and then just kind of stuck with them.
So I spent my money on Mercedes. Obviously, I spent quite a bit there, and then I spent quite a bit on Albon.
Oh yeah, that was a mistake.
Which hasn't really panned out.
He's had a rough year.
Albon by himself was worth more than Renault or Alfa were.
Yeah.
So, and then usually what I do with my drivers, because I think the way that they score them is like they get points for passing and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So like if they qualify 10th, but they finish 5th, you're going to get a decent number of points for them that way because they passed a bunch of people.
That's why Russell's That's why George Russell's worth what he is because he'll qualify in 18th place, but he'll finish in 14th or 13th regularly.
Right. So my driver thoughts were to try and get drivers who in the past have been good drivers but aren't on necessarily good teams. So their cars aren't going to be fast. They're not going to qualify well, but because they're good, talented drivers, they'll take advantage of the situations that they're given, and hopefully they'll pass people. So I have Raikkonen and Ricciardo.
Good choices
That's not
for
worked
that.
out well for me either.
Yeah, I understand the theory, and those would have been good drivers for that choice. But yeah, no, they haven't. I mean, Ricardo's had done pretty good as in reality, not so much in fantasy.
So Ricardo's the only thing that's worth more.
Yep.
Actually, Renault's worth $500,000 more than I paid for him too, I guess. But Ricciardo's I paid $8. He's worth $9.
That sounds about right.
And then Renault, I paid $11. They're worth $11.5 now.
Nice.
So, yeah, it hasn't been a good year for me, and honestly, I started slipping behind, and then I started losing interest, and I don't think that I have put in predictions for the last 2 races.
Which that's usually only a small amount of points, but yeah, like let's say right now,
right. But when you have a real shit team,
20 points if you get them right it adds up quick.
Yeah. So like the last race, the points for Italy, I scored 61 points in Italy.
That's bad. When the top score was
real bad,
225 or something.
219.
A little off pace there. Yeah. So like an Alex Albon would have been pretty good market value to start the season. A Sebastian Vettel would have been pretty good market value. Leclerc would have been good market value. So
if you spent money on Ferrari or Ferrari drivers, I really feel bad for you.
Yeah, I didn't in any situation, so I couldn't tell you exact numbers on like where to start and where they're at now, but probably not good. You might have been able to pick them up later in the season and not being hurting so bad. But yeah, if you started the season with Ferrari, yeah, you kind of shot yourself.
Did they even finish either car last weekend?
They did not.
Yeah. Not good, man.
No, they're not having a good season.
While I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and put in predictions for this weekend. Screw it.
I'm hoping I win. I had a funny bit that I wanted.
When's the race?
Sunday.
Before the show releases?
Yeah, this will release like 2 hours after that race is done.
All right. So I'm going to guess Hamilton wins.
And qualifies first.
And he'll get pole. I'm going to go ahead and just put this out there for the world because they can't copy me. It'll be out after the show comes out.
Yep, too late.
Who do I think is going to get second? Let's see here.
I put Verstappen. You're not predicting another wild race?
That's not where the safe bet is where you get the points, Robbie.
I understand. And it only worked out. Last week was the only week it really didn't work for me. So has
Norris been doing good this year?
Yeah, McLaren's like they finished second and fourth last week. Lando got fourth. I appreciate that. I'm a big fan, and I still don't put him up there.
I don't think he's quite there for second, but I think he's got third in him.
I put Verstappen and then Bottas.
Yeah, I think Verstappen's going to take second. And then fastest of the weekend. Who's been doing that good this year?
It's been consistently somebody different every week.
Damn it.
Because it comes down to strategy. It's like, yeah, someone will throw soft tires on with 10 laps to go and set a fastest lap.
Right, just because it's worth a couple points.
And it's worth an extra championship point. So, yeah, I don't know.
I'm going to go for Ricky because he's my man right now. He's the only one who's done me any good. Safety cars, let's just say one safety. You know what? They don't ever race here, do they?
Ooh, no, they don't.
This is Magello or whatever?
Yeah, Magello.
So let's go with 2 safety cars. And then Gasly's going to finish top 6. That's my guess.
I hope so. I picked 7th to 9th, but...
All right. We're saving them. Bam.
Our predictions are in.
Predictions are in. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, if you were a smart fantasy player, you would have bought Gasly a week or two ago when he was valued low.
There's no way you could have guessed the last weekend's race, though.
Somebody in Sweden predicted the final podium, and they won 116,000 to 1 bet. They put like 20 cents down and got $33,000. So somebody in Sweden predicted it.
But dude, how many other bets did he have?
Like 100. I'm sure.
Yeah, he didn't. That's not his only bet. He wasn't rolling the dice on that one. If he had 20 cents in on it, he has a certain amount of money he spends on every race, and he just bets all of it.
Yep. No, I got friends that do that with MMA. They'll go through the app and like do a bunch of bets for like different different scenarios, and then some pay out, some don't. And if you parlay and have a handful of different ones right, you get more money. But
that's a real popular thing for like the Super Bowl too, isn't it?
Sports in general, sports betting is a multi-million or billion-dollar industry.
Yeah, I remember when we were in Vegas for SCCA convention that we had that Uber driver that was asking us questions about sports betting in Iowa.
I mean, it's a thing.
You remember that?
Yeah, it's not
because he was like trying to make an app or some shit.
Yeah. I mean, you can do it from your phone right now. There's apps for it.
Weird.
No, I thought it was crazy that people were sitting like that room that was just sports betting, and people were sitting there watching computer screens of just numbers. They weren't even watching the games. No one gives a shit about the games. They're just watching the numbers. No. It's like just like watching math problems play out. But hey,
there's probably. I mean, I could see you getting the same amount of entertainment out of that as you do out of slot machines, but I don't get slot machines. So
slot machines is where you just throw away money. That's where the house wins, like big time.
Yeah,
that's a money making
guaranteed
machine. It's a license for them to print money at your expense.
Right. Guaranteed money.
Yep.
For them.
Oh yeah, house always wins.
There's no way they can't win.
I had a friend in
college. They know what they're gonna do.
Right. I had a friend in college who was an accountant, and he interned at what's the big one in Minneapolis?
I don't have any idea.
Whatever, big casino in Minneapolis, like the big one. And he interned there, and he goes, "No, seriously, dude, the house always wins. You shouldn't go to a casino." It's just like actually getting to see the numbers. It's just mind blowing. We should start a casino. Then we could pay for all the stuff that we're trying to do.
If only that was a way if only there was a way that was a possibility.
That would be great. Be the 10-10 casino where everybody bets the max all the time.
A car themed casino.
I'm in.
That would probably do fine.
We could have like racing watch parties, and you could have part of that be like the bets. Be great. Everyone love it.
Yeah. Just motorsports all the time on TV.
Yeah, then we could put it next to my country club racetrack when I have all the money in the world.
Well, obviously.
Yeah. So then I could buy Greenwood Roadway down here in Iowa and just have my big casino and my country club and my racetrack. Everybody wins. That's the dream. If I won the lottery, not really the casino part, but the other part, I would make that happen.
Yeah.
That's my retirement plan. That and
I think
Buffalo Farm.
Buffalo Farm?
Hell yeah. That's the dream, man, a Buffalo Farm.
I can't imagine there's money in Buffalo Farms.
There is. Buffalo is $11 a pound.
Oh, yeah, but how many people buy it?
People with taste. It's delicious. It's so much better.
Rich people, because it's $11 a pound.
It's a delicacy, Adam. You can get it at Costco.
Really?
Yeah, that's in the freezer section. It's got 2 big packets.
I didn't know that.
It's still expensive there, too.
Costco.
You haven't been to Costco?
No, I don't. There's not a Costco near me, Robbie. That's like wildly out of my way to get to the nearest Costco.
Well, next time you come here, we could do the podcast. We could go to Costco, and it'll blow your mind.
It's an hour drive away from my house to get to the nearest Costco.
You can borrow my cooler. It's fine. You'll fill up your van and just go all the way back and just have all the food.
I don't own a van yet, Robbie.
Fill the Blazer. It'll change your life. It's like a family vacation. You just go there, samples, there's shit everywhere, and the kids just having a great time.
It's like a family vacation, he says.
When you get done with the podcast, ask Katie, like, how would you feel about going to Costco? She'd be super pumped.
I bet she wouldn't. I bet she'd roll her eyes at me.
No way, dude.
Like she does every other suggestion I make for her.
Oh, let's make a bet on this. What's the bet? I don't know. I would like to. I wish we could make a bet on this and have it be interesting, but we can't.
I think you spent too much time thinking about casinos already.
I did. All my betting ideas are out the window already. I don't know. I'm too tired.
Yeah, I get that.
Anyways, this rant about my casino and buffalo farming endeavors for when I become rich and famous, or just rich. I don't want to be famous. I just want to be rich. This is brought to you by Factory Fabrication. Right. Our best buddy Booney. I had a dream that I wanted a cage in my Z, and that's not what they do, but that's what they do now. So if you need a roll bar or a cage, I dreamed it, they'll build it. If you actually need like hand railings or like for fancy furniture or any sort of like metal custom fabrication or wood custom fabrication, fabrication.com.
Boom.
Damn.
Rob, you've got stuff to talk about.
I got a couple things.
Why don't you start? We'll just bounce back and forth a little bit.
Yeah. I don't have a whole heck of a lot. So, did I mention that I gutted the Z already?
I don't remember. I don't think that you did because I think you had done that right before we talked to
Karen.
To Karen, and so we didn't talk about any of that sort of stuff on the show.
Okay, so after Grid Life, I had made the decision that it's time for the Z to get serious about being ready for like GLTC or road racing or something. So came home and immediately stripped the car, got all the interior pulled out, windows out, everything, dash. I was in there just deciding like, AC, these components are for climate control. That just goes in the pile. Carpet in the pile. Just all that shit that I didn't need. So my plan was to just gut it. I talked to Booney. He was all for having me drop it off. He'll finish the cage for me. Basically just decided, I want NASCAR bars and basically be like WRL legal is where I want my cage to be. Is my thought process. I got to double check and make sure I have everything I need for any potential series I would put it in. Obviously, GLTC would be kind of the main focus, but it'd be nice to have it be legal in other sanctioning bodies. And I'm assuming if it's GLTC legal, it's probably legal in most everything else that it would possibly go in.
I wish that was like. I wish that there was like a sanctioning body that's like, if you build your cage to this, you're good for everybody.
That'd be great.
It seems like. I mean, I understand because I know some of the stories that we're not going to discuss on the podcast that's just not realistic.
Nope.
But I wish that they could just work together a little bit because it would be for the better of everybody involved.
When it comes to safety, I don't know why that shouldn't be a problem. Everyone should just kind of be on the same page. But obviously, even dealing with TT like mid-iv TTs. Views on the safety requirements don't necessarily match up with the SCCA, which don't necessarily match up with NASA or any other So it's just kind of everyone just kind of, especially at TT,
they're all close.
They're close, and it's, like at TT level, you have different ideologies. So like our view is that it's a little bit closer. Our rules allow it to be closer to road racing than Track Night in America, for example, and that bothers people because they don't want to put the safety in that would be closer to road racing. They want to have halfway there, in my opinion, which I would argue is much more unsafe, but I'll get off my soapbox. But anyways.
It's not the time and place.
No, it's not. It's not. So I just planned on having it be as legal as possible for multiple series. So just kind of overbuild it, if anything. And I'll work with Booney on that. So I didn't want to have a car that couldn't have windows at all. Because I'm not going to buy an enclosed trailer. It's just not in the budget for next year if I do all the things that I'm planning on doing. So I got to be able to trailer this and not have it just fill up with water. Let's if we were coming back from Alpine Horizon and had this car with no windows, it would have been just a foot of water, maybe more. So I spent Saturday, I think it was Saturday, building these brackets that make it so that for 2 bolts on either side, all I have to do is, one 10-millimeter bolt on front and back, and it's out. So it basically just connects to the, I don't know, it's got like a really weird window regulator holding thing. So it's like brackets bolted to this metal piece that gets bolted to the door. So it's got like 10 bolts all the way around. So I take all that crap off, throw it away, and then just take my glass and then just have these brackets that attach on 2 different bolts on the outside edge, and then just lines up exactly where I want it and have it seal in a good place. So the passenger side took forever. So I went to Lowe's, and I thought I knew what I wanted, so I was going to have a brace that went all the way across, kind of just attach everything, and just have spacers to kind of hold it where it needs to be. I started working on it, started cutting the piece. I'm like, this sucks. And I just threw the whole thing away. Like literally 3 hours into the project, just the whole thing's in a pile. I'm like,
oh, it's so frustrating to have to do something like that.
Because I had committed to it. I thought this was going to work. And about 3 hours into the project, I'm like, this looks like shit. It doesn't line up the way I want it to. This isn't what I want. So then I'm kind of like digging through I got just like totes of just stuff because I'm kind of a hoarder when it comes to this random thing. Like, I could use this later. So I have these metal shelving bracket things. I don't know where I got them, but somebody gave them to me. Like, hey, do you want these? Yeah, I can figure out something to do with them. So I'm looking at them. I'm like, this is kind of malleable. Like, I could work this. So I like tear them all apart and start bending the brackets into place using my vise and like a pliers and just kind of bending it, lining it up, bending it, cutting it. I'm like, okay, that's about right. Drilled some holes, lined up perfectly. I mean, driver's side took a couple hours, and then the passenger side took a couple hours, and the driver's side went a lot faster because I knew the dimensions and stuff of what I wanted. I just had to go and kind of mimic it and mirror it on the other side. So
yeah, it's always the first side that's the hardest.
Yep. So I mean, it seals pretty good. I think if I get caught in a horrible rainstorm, it's going to leak, or if I'm like spraying on it with a hose directly on the seal of the window, it's going to leak a little bit, but as long as it keeps most of the water out.
It's still going to hold most of it out. I mean, it's a race car. That, you know.
Yeah, I'm not overly concerned. I just wanted to keep the majority out.
Right.
And it's pretty solid in there. And, yeah, I just have to remove a bolt on the front side and the back side and pull the window out. And if I want to put it back in, I just kind of set it in there. And then it's got little braces on the bottom so that you can set it on the braces, grab your bolts, and then lift one side and then the other to get it exactly where it needs to be. So about 5 minutes to get both windows in or out. So
it's not too bad, though.
No, I'd say all things considered.
It's reasonable.
Because I wanted to do something real quick and easy, and I wanted to use like pins or something, but decided that, you know, the brackets already had metric like rib nuts in them, for lack of a better term. It's not really rib nuts, but they had, you know, built-in nuts in them. So I was like, well, I already have the bolts. Just make the brackets work for that. So I spent all day doing that, and I think it seals up really great. It doesn't have the fancy feature anymore when you close it that the window goes up. Because, like, when you open your door, when you open the door on the Z.
Oh, yeah, because you don't have a window frame.
No frame. So, like, when I open the door, it drops down a little bit. And then when you close it, it goes zoop, and it brings it up. Yeah, I lost that.
Yeah, my TT did that, too.
All fancy and shit.
Yeah, who cares?
No, now it's just there. But this way I can at least function on an open trailer. That was most of my day. And then the not so fun part of my weekend was that I learned the hard way that Nissan runs all of their electronics and their signals from the ECU through the climate control module before it gets to the cluster. So when you go through and say, I don't need this, snip, it turns out you do unless you want to run like a race dash, which I really don't want to do at this point because of my shoestring budget.
Right. Right.
Because it's a stock Z. I just need to have just basic shit. And I want to run a oil temp gauge, and I don't need a race dash for that. And everything else already is on the dash that I already need. So between that and my Apex Pro, I'm fine for now. Yes, it'd be great to have a $2,000 data logger, but that's not really where the money's going to be spent for a while.
No, it seems a little silly.
Yep. So I got in there. I cut basically the entire harness for the radio. All that stuff got just snipped and throw away. Anything that went to the doors, that got snipped and thrown away. Anything with the climate control. And then the yaw sensor, which I was told, I had conflicting in places online that said it was just for the dynamic system. So if you cut this out, your VDS is not going to interfere ever. That also means your ABS doesn't work. So that got cut out and thrown away too. So, not really worried about that because I don't need that. I'm stubborn that way.
You hope. You hope.
No, I don't have ABS. I can tell you right now, I do not have ABS. I went for a test drive. ABS is gone. So that just means that I pulled out the ABS module, threw that away too, because I'm stubborn. And if I needed factory ABS, will not make me faster on track. So that's thrown out the window. If I'm making mistakes on flat spotting tires, it's because my driving is poor and I need to be a better driver. I'm very stubborn that way. I don't need a nanny. So
I hope you're right.
No, the 240 doesn't have ABS, and now the Z doesn't have ABS, and I really Formula One drivers don't need ABS. It's fine, and they crash all the time.
It's not the same thing.
ABS will not make me faster. If anything, it's going to interfere from a factory Z. If I want to go down the route of getting ABS, I'm going to be way better off getting an aftermarket one.
Apparently this, I think E46 BMW Bosch kit is what everybody's doing these days.
That's a good one. I don't know.
I guess it's like short of spending like $8 or $9 on a Bosch Motorsports grade ABS. That's the next best option.
That's crazy. Now I'll just learn to brake.
It's like I want to say somewhere between the $1,000 and $1,500 range to get all the sensors and all the things that you need for it. So
yeah, or just run without it. They make a little block that you can replace the ABS module at the brake booster as well. That's only like $200. So if I go that all the way to completely deleting it, that's what I'll do. But right now I'm just all the electronics are deleted. But more important.
So I don't know if it's a problem in the 350, but I know the 370Z suffers from this thing called ice mode, which is a braking issue that I don't really truly understand because I don't have to.
Yep.
But it's if I were in your shoes, I would at least make sure that's not going to be an issue.
I think that was an issue if you disabled the VDS but still had everything connected. So I know that that was part of it too. Is there are places saying well, if you just you can wire in a switch to your VDS or the yaw sensor.
Is that the factory stability control?
Yeah. So you could wire in people were wiring in switches to their yaw sensor, so you could just put basically a kill switch to your yaw sensor, but it would still have all the other ABS stuff in there, and that would throw a signal that would throw them into ice mode. So I think by literally throwing the entire ABS module and the yaw sensor and all that crap and just throwing that all out of the car, I don't really have anything that could send it into ice mode.
Okay.
So, or we'll find out the hard way that I did that wrong too. So, I don't know. It's deleted. But, yeah, it was really weird that the climate control had to have all the signals from the ECU before it goes to the cluster. So that had to be wired back in. And that was what...
So did your climate control system have to stay then?
No, just this 2-ounce box had to be wired back in. But of course it's 50 freaking wires.
Oh, okay.
So pulled the whole harness out and then just kind of threw away anything that I wasn't using and then added that module back in, so I'll be tucked up in the dash. So yeah, I don't need any of the actual climate control stuff. I just need this little box that it's the box that connects to the knobs for turning your fans on and stuff. So
weird.
Yeah, so fans don't need to be connected to it. The knobs don't need to be connected to it. You just have to literally run the wires through the box before it gets to the cluster. Otherwise, you don't have miles per hour or RPM or literally anything. It's just a dead cluster.
That's so obnoxious and strange, though.
Yep. So I spent this would be Monday. So I spent Monday basically pulling the harness apart and then rewiring those back in. And I told myself I'd give myself one shot. It's just all I need to do is match up wires. If I can't get that right on one shot, or at least a day, we'll just say fuck it, throw it away and get some sort of data, some sort of dash, like an OBD2 dash, because the OBD2 sensors or that part worked. The only thing that wasn't working was the cluster. So I could just get some sort of OBD2 display and get all the information that I needed. But it worked on first try, so now I'm waiting on my loom to show up so I can make it a little prettier. But I don't know, everything ran fine. The cluster worked, so I didn't burn it to the ground. So at least I got that going for me. Took it out for a test drive, just around the block, so I could verify that I absolutely did not have ABS. And sure enough, I did not. I just slammed on the brakes and slid in the gravel, and yep, okay, there we go.
All right then.
Yeah, we'll give it the old college try next spring once it's all back together. Yeah, that's been my adventure, is just kind of learning what type of weird, goofy electronic stuff Nissan's done.
Didn't you buy something else for that car too?
Oh yeah. I don't have a picture of it. So there was I wanted a real limited slip for forever, and the 240. I think with being like smaller tires, it doesn't, and maybe it's just set up a different way that it's not quite as noticeable in a negative way, having a shim diff. So driving it like around the paddock or on track, that one seems a little bit more predictable. But in the Z, it felt like it was just a locked, and it probably doesn't help that I have RS3s on it still, but it just felt not great. So one guy had a Tomy, the T-Trax, the clutch pack limited slip, 1.5 way. He wanted like it was a third of the price of a new one. It only had like 1,000 miles on it. And he was he's friends with Ben Solom. So I texted him. I was like, hey man, I'm obviously not going to drive to Fargo for this, but do you know this guy? And Ben's like, yeah man, he's good shit. All right. So I sent him a message. I was like, hey man, what's the best you can do? Ship that to Des Moines. He gave me a fair price. I'm like, all right, I'll send you some PayPal. So, and I didn't get screwed over. I got tracking the next day. I really appreciate that, because getting fucked over.
It's a fucking roll of the dice anymore.
Yeah, on Facebook Marketplace, it's it's pretty easy to get screwed over if you don't go meet him. But I said that to him too. I was like, Ben vouched for you. I'm gonna send you the money not as a friend. I'm gonna send it as an item that I'm buying from you. So I'll pay the fees. So if it doesn't show up, I can at least file a complaint with PayPal and get my money back. But yeah, I got the tracking the next day. It'll be here Thursday, tomorrow, or if you're listening to this Sunday or whenever the hell you're listening to it, I should have it already. So now I'll get to figure out what it feels like to have an actual limited slip in a vehicle, which I'm really excited about. So I'm not going to have time to throw it into the pumpkin inside the 240 just to do it. So it's gonna sit until I decide to put it in. The idea is to put it in the Z, but it could go in either one.
You just got to figure out a way to make that quicker. The swap thing.
Sickie makes a quick diff swap. They're like $1,400 a pop, and I would need 2.
You just got to figure out how to make it or just get really good at swapping them between your two cars.
It's really not that bad.
And then you're going to know ahead of time what you're going to be doing, and
yes,
just switch.
The only thing I would need to do would be to drill out the flange so that I can run either drive shaft. But honestly, no, I could knock that out after work.
I mean, you're not going to be Dalton anytime soon. You're not going to, be registering both cars for the same event. So who cares?
Yeah, no, it's fine. I've done that before where I swap parts between cars, between these two, between events. So, I mean, a diff would be kind of a pain just because it would take a few hours, but I'd get good at it.
That's the key.
Yep. Yeah, just if you break shit or have to replace it enough times, you get good at it. So swapping out a diff after every event, I could do that.
Would you have to worry about alignment?
No, that doesn't affect any of that.
Okay, I didn't know how involved that gets into it.
No, it's the axles are on U joints, so I mean it's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so you just take them. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
okay. Duh.
It's not bad at all. So it's 6 bolts on either axle, 4 bolts on the drive shaft, and 3 bolts holding the diff pumpkin into the chassis. So I mean, it's honestly not bad. It's like probably 3 different wrench sizes and 2 different socket sizes.
That would be really hilarious if you actually started doing that shit, slopped them back and forth between events. That would be really funny to me.
Just buy 1 limited slip, so I don't have to buy 2.
That would be the ultimate like Ravi cheapskate thing, though. Like it wouldn't even be surprising to me if you did that.
I can't argue with that. I mean, I would do it. What do I need 2 for? That's why I bought this. That's why I got the same diff in both cars.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it wouldn't even be that weird.
Well, it's honestly crossed my mind because like I don't have a plan to have the Z done next year. Like I'm just kind of, I have time, so I'm working on it now. But the intent is to drive the Porsche next year and the 240 and TT, and then Josh has mentioned that if he does any endurance racing, that I'd be on the list of people he'd want to go with him. So realistically, I probably won't even drive the Z on track next year. You know, I said that this year, but we'll see. But yeah, I got so many options of things that it wouldn't surprise me if the Z doesn't see any real track time next year, assuming that I do time trials with the 240. So it's crossed my mind to just throw it in the 240 and leave it there for time trials until I have the Z ready to go. So I might kind of do that.
We're all assuming that we're going to have this under control and we're going to have a season that's more normalized next year.
That is also the assumption.
Which is
that, or we're going to take the American route and just say, "Fuck it, no matter what, normal season." And I think
let's just do this.
We're not going to get political or anything like that, but like I think 2021, everyone's just going to kind of say, "Well, 2020 was a shit show. We're just going to move forward regardless." And I think that's probably what's going to be.
Yeah, that's
no matter what. I think that 2021 is going to be a normal year, regardless of anything else. So we'll see how that.
You're probably not wrong.
I think the schedules are going to come out, and people are going to say, you know, we did it last year. These are the dates. We're not changing them. So,
yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, who knows? It's a weird world. But yeah,
that's putting it lightly.
So yeah, I've been. Oh, so yeah. Then my eBay page is full of just interior bits and other things that I'm selling to finance the other things that I'm buying, so I can my bank account can stay happy for a little bit. Just planning my expenses over the next year. So yeah, if you need kind of beat up interior parts for Z's, check out my eBay page.
Fair enough.
But yeah, that's all I got. Just kind of tinkering on the Z, nothing too dramatic.
Okay. Well, I've got a handful of things to talk about as well, I guess.
Yeah.
So, to start with, since it seemed to be so interesting to a surprisingly large number of you guys, let's talk about my RC car shenanigans real quick.
Hell yeah.
So here, a couple weeks ago, we were up at my my girlfriend's mother and her new husband's house, and across the street from his house there was is like a city lot, right? And they have a bunch of piles of loose gravel, and we discovered that you can race up these. You can get a good running start at it, and you can just fly straight up these piles and right off the backside, and the thing just goes sailing, and it was pretty sweet. So that's what we were doing, and I'm still not very good at keeping which way you twist the wheel on the side of the remote control. To turn left or right.
Yeah, wait. So I've only done like the really cheap, like two double.
So
double
mine doesn't
sticks.
have the two control, like two sticks, like a video game does.
Yeah.
Mine is the one where it looks more like a gun, and you have a trigger for throttle.
Yep.
And you squeeze it to go forward, and you push it towards the front of the remote for what they call braking, because it actually does do some sort of electric motor braking. And then you can also do it again to go in reverse. And then there's a wheel on the side of the remote control that you twist left or twist forward and backward to turn left and right.
So forward is left, backwards right.
I think so.
That's
See,
my
this is the
assumption.
problem. I get this confused all the time, and but what's really bad, what I really struggle with getting grips with is when it's coming towards me.
Oh, so it's opposite.
Yes, and so I inevitably turn the wrong way every time, and I did that shortly after jumping off of something, and I ran into the base of the city water tower.
Dang it!
And I broke. So when I fixed the one spindle on the front, when I broke the one, I only replaced the one. I didn't replace the other side that was still plastic, and I hit the water tower and broke that one too. And so this weekend when I was at my dad's house, we finally drug it out of the Blazer and brought it into my dad's shop, and I replaced that side. And in the process of it, I realized that I bent some of the pins that hold the front suspension together. And I also bent the tie rods for the steering in the front.
Grief.
Pretty badly. So thankfully I had a few extra of those pins that I bent, and I had already purchased much thicker upgraded tie rods, steering tie rods. And so I just replaced all that stuff. And so I still have not replaced, but I own upgraded control arms, lower control arms for the front. Everybody kept telling me don't buy the aluminum ones. You want them to flex a little bit. But if you want upgraded ones, they both Traxxas and this company called RPM make upgraded but still plastic control arms. So I own those, but I haven't broken the ones that are on the truck. So I figure I'm not going to bother yet.
So is that the only thing you haven't? Is that the only thing you haven't broken yet for the suspension?
On the front end, I haven't broke like shocks yet.
Oh yeah.
Which is absolutely a possibility. And they make upgraded shock bodies with thicker pistons and rods so that you don't bend those.
The shit, what's the word I'm looking for? Not the spring. The actual hydraulics. Like, is that actually a valved?
Yeah, dude, it's a full bore shock. It operates exactly like a real car does. In fact, I was talking to Dusty about it, and he told me that was where he learned the voodoo black magic art that is shock tuning.
Yep.
And it's so real and so serious, and the racers of these RC cars are so serious about it that you can buy different viscosities of oil to change the way that those shocks react, and they are built exactly like a car on a small scale.
Yeah, I suppose it's probably let's say it's a simple enough system. It's just scaled down,
right?
Huh.
And it has. It's a coil-on shock, like legit coilover. It has the coilover collars on it. Like you can move them up and down on the shock. You can move the springs a little bit and stuff like that. And you can get different spring rates. And it comes with spring spacers so that you can have a little bit of preload. And like, dude, it's out of control. It's wild. So, but yeah, so far I haven't broken anything in the back yet.
That's good. So
the next upgrade that's going to be down the road, there's the central chassis, and then there's like skid plates and bash bars and stuff that bolt all the way around it, and those are getting pretty beat up.
Oh yeah,
so I think I'm going to have to replace those.
Are those just plastic too?
Yes.
Okay.
The back of it has what they call a wheelie bar. It's just a hard plastic bar, but they make like a real one that has a wheel on it, and I kind of need that in my life.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Because if that will allow me to ride out my wheelies, that would be the best day in the world.
Yeah. No,
so that's probably going to get purchased in the somewhat near future, too.
That sounds like an excellent Christmas or birthday present for Logan.
for myself. I've already accepted the fact that all of these things are for me and not for him. It's fine.
When's he getting his own?
Well, so I was talking to Dusty because I kind of really the gravel piles made me really want the 4-wheel drive one, because if you remember when I talked to Dusty about the remote control things, he said that in order to do the flips reliably, make them easier to do, you need one of the 4-wheel drive cars that's also the lithium ion battery packs and their upgraded engines, because the change in momentum that rapidly that the 4-wheel drive and that fancy engine will allow you is what spins the truck to get it to roll and flip in the air. And I really desperately want to do that. And so I'm already looking at buying a new one, because there's really no good way to upgrade my 2-wheel drive one to a 4-wheel drive one. So I think I'm just going to buy another one.
I like it. That'll be fun.
That's where I'm at in my life right now.
I think we're gonna have to bring you and Logan out to my place and build some ramps, like jump shit in my yard.
Yeah, just do silly, stupid stuff.
Yeah, we got all sorts of stuff out here, man.
Absolutely. So, but yeah, one of my battery packs is shot, so I need to buy another one of those, which is kind of a bum deal. I don't know what happened to it. I think I maybe just left it plugged in and I ruined it. Maybe that's how it happened. I'm not really sure.
At least I didn't do it to a car battery like me.
This really sucks. Should be cheaper to fix than a fire.
Yeah. Makes your whole garage smell like rotten eggs when you really do it.
Yeah, that too, I'm sure. So
so yours is probably a little easier or cheaper to replace than my brand new Odyssey.
Well, I mean, brand new Odyssey, sure, but like a regular car battery, they're not that far off, honestly.
Yeah.
I think they're like $60 or $70.
I think Dusty needs to give you a frequent flyer discount or something.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Like a friendly 10 Tenths podcast discount.
So, yeah, that kind of sucked.
Yeah,
but
that's not good.
It is what it is.
They should have a safety equipment thing on there that automatically, because my trickle charger automatically maintains.
So I think if you buy the fancy, so I have like the cheapest charger.
Oh.
And they have a fancy charger, and I think if you have the fancy charger, that it does do that.
Damn it. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, because like a car.
But I haven't spent the money on that yet.
Yeah, just like a car, you can get a $30 battery charger or a $180 battery charger.
And I have like the $120 car charger.
Yeah, of course.
Because I needed one that did 12 and 6 volt.
That's
and that was kind of hard to get. And I needed it to do 6 volts so that I could charge Logan's Power Wheels.
Ah, yeah.
So, but yeah, so that's where we're at on that, I guess. So people, I like the day after that show came out, I was getting invited to RC car groups, and I know a bunch of guys posted stuff about it on the Facebook group. So I figured, that seemed to be a hit. We'll run through that again. So, but yeah, we still use it all the time. Logan went through a phase there for a little while where he was terrified of it, but he's back to enjoying driving it and playing with it again, which is
that's
good.
Fun.
So, yeah. While we were at Katie's mom's house, that is where the RV is.
Oh yeah.
So I didn't take any better pictures of it because if you would believe this or not, Robbie, my phone was dead when I was looking at it.
No way!
At 9:00 in the morning.
No!
Because I forgot to plug it in the night before.
Everybody that's listening is like, how could this happen? No way!
Yeah.
Your phone's died?
Yeah, I was as shocked as the rest of you are. So I don't have any better pictures of it, but I can say, so we threw a battery in it, and she fired right up, like on the third or fourth try, honestly, which for a carbureted vehicle that's been sitting there for 2 years, then was built in the mid-'70s, I can't be too upset about that.
That's actually a lot better than I thought you were going to tell. I thought it was going to be like, it's okay, so I'm happy.
Yeah.
It's like the fact that it freaking started.
Yeah, honestly, I was like kind of cheering for it not to start, and then me being able to be like, nah, man, I'm just not going to deal with this. Like, but it started, and so now I kind of feel obligated almost. I don't know.
Well, I'd say it's a pretty damn good investment if it fired up that fast.
Yeah, so I was able to talk to him finally, which he was a lot more informative than her mother, believe it or not. So he told me when he got it there that so it's got a generator on it. They plugged that, or they fired that up. They ran it just on like a gas can with a hose ran down into it. He doesn't know if the fuel pump works for it or not, but the generator does run. It does run the air conditioner. The air conditioner that is roof mounted still blows cold air, still works really well. He has no idea whether or not the water system is in good operating condition. He has no idea whether or not the refrigerator is in good operating condition. And he has no idea about the stove. The stove I couldn't care less about. That doesn't matter to me at all.
You had a grill. It's fine.
Yeah, I don't know why they even put stoves in campers, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah, me neither.
But the fridge and the water system's a little more important to me. I'm not super, like, if the water system's a total waste, it's just totally gone, I'm probably not going to try fixing it too hard, because we're only going to go to either racetracks that probably have showers and and bathrooms, or we're going to go to
like
campgrounds that have showers or bathrooms. So I guess, if that doesn't work very well, it doesn't work very well. It is what it is. So, and it looks like just a regular, like slightly larger than dorm room fridge.
Okay. Yeah.
So I don't know if I could just go to like Walmart and buy a new fridge for it and be done with it. I don't see why I couldn't, though.
No, I don't. The fridge is a fridge.
That's kind of where I'm at on it.
I think as long as you have the right dimensions, it should be just fine.
And even if I don't, I'll just make it work. It's a piece of shit.
You could make a bigger hole for your refrigerator.
Yeah. Well, as long as it's smaller than the one that's there.
No, you make the hole bigger.
Well, that's fair. I can buy a bigger fridge, I guess.
Just take the stove out and put it where the stove was.
I definitely don't plan on using that stove ever, so who cares?
Yeah, we could have 2 fridges.
So, it doesn't have any obvious water leaks. There was one above the cab, above the driving compartment where that bed is above the cab. Originally, when he got it and he tore all the trim off up there, found the leak, sealed it up, put all the trim back in, and it seems to be holding. There's no other water damage on the interior of the vehicle. It appears to be in good shape in that regard. I really expected it to be like a rusted out piece of shit underneath. It looks pretty solid considering its age. Like the front doors for the van part of the motorhome, they're a little rusty, but like the door frame is in good shape, which I expected to be rusty, and it wasn't. The frame of the vehicle and the floor of the RV, or of the camper section of it, looks to be pretty solid yet, which I was surprised by. So it's not pretty. Don't get me wrong. It's
a project.
Pretty, but it's in way better shape than I expected it to be, which I was happy about, but at the same time kind of bummed out about, because now I'm kind of stuck with it. Like, I actually have to go through this. I was really partially hoping that it was going to be absolutely
total loss
shit, and I'll be like, nah, man, just take it to the dump. I don't care. But that's not really the case. It's actually in pretty decent shape for its age, and is certainly workable. So I think I'm going to end up taking it.
Nice. Yeah, I think it's a good project, and it sounds like if it's in half the condition that you make it just sound like it is, it's money well spent. I'd say that you could.
Worst case scenario, that generator by itself is worth a good bit more than I'm giving him for it.
Yeah,
and I can just throw the rest of it away.
Yeah, no, I think a few hundred to a couple. Let's just say, let's call it $2,000. I'd say they go a long ways to making this be exactly what you're looking for.
Yeah. So he told me that he put new valve cover gaskets in it and put a few other little things in there. It's the distributor as a vacuum advance style. And I don't really know enough about that to really explain to you what that means, but I know that it advances timing when you give it gas, and it uses vacuum from the carburetor to do that. And that mechanism is rusted or bound up and needs replaced. But my understanding of it, based on me telling my dad that and him not saying that I needed to throw away the distributor and buy a new one, is that I can just fix that inside of the distributor and I don't have to buy a new one.
Nice.
So I'll just buy a rebuild kit and fix it.
I figure you just bring it to your dad's house and he's got to have like 6 of them lying around. Just toss it in.
Well, so it's a Ford.
If it was a Pontiac.
If it was a GM product, I'd probably be fine. But it's a Ford, and so that's probably not going to happen.
Ah, shoot.
But the good thing about that is that if it were a GM, the distributor would be on the back of the engine. But since it's a Ford, it's up front where I can get it.
Nice. See, this whole thing is just falling together. Things are just working out.
Yeah, I guess that means I own a camper. So I am a C-class citizen now.
That's awesome. I like it.
So
is this going to your house for the winter project, or is this going set aside for a while?
To so it won't fit in my garage. It's physically taller than my garage doors are.
Oh, shoot.
So that's not going to work for a winter project at all.
No.
So it is going to my grandparents' house. Well, not my grandparents' house, but my grandparents own some farmland outside of the town that they live in, and there is a large machine shed there, and there's ample space for that to be stored in there for the time being.
Nice.
So it's going to stay there for the winter, and then probably come home with to me in the spring where we can start working on it when it's warm enough outside to work on it. So.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Get it done just in time to take it to Grid Life.
Well, we'll see. So, that being said, I just got a couple of little things. This weekend I went to my dad's house in Missouri, and my dad lives just like 20 or 30 minutes from the local drag strip. So, we kind of debated back and forth and hemmed and hawed about whether or not he was going to take his vehicle and go racing, but ultimately decided that nearly 100-degree heat indexes were just more than he felt like dealing with. So we didn't actually go and drive, but later on in the evening we went to watch. And so I took my kid. This is the first drag race that he's been to where he's kind of old enough to have an opinion on it.
Did he like it?
So
I guess he's been to a few, hasn't he?
This I think is his second time he's been to third time he's been to the drag race, to the drag strip. But the last 2 times he's been quite a bit younger and really didn't, this was the first time where he was like old enough that he could kind of pay attention and understand what's going on around him, and that he's not there just like in his own little world singing to himself.
Well, is he finding like all the blue cars like Crusher and?
Yeah, so he was. I was trying to get him to like guess which one was going to win and stuff like that. Like,
that's a good one.
Is it going to be the red car or the black car? Red's his favorite color, so it's always going to be the red car type deal. And he was kind of playing along with that, but he is the biggest pansy on the planet when it comes to loud noises.
Oh, him and my dog would get along. Go hide together.
Yeah, so we had him. He was wearing ear protection.
Yeah, of course.
So, and that, with that, he was fine. He enjoyed it. So, we were there for a while. It was supposed to be jet car night. But thanks to some assholes who refused to use the trough in the bathroom and my 4-year-old trying to do potty training, we had to leave early.
Oh, great.
So, because there was a line when I took him to use the bathroom, because there's a bunch of guys who were all worried about somebody staring at their penises while they're using the trough, so they wouldn't do it. Like, people care.
Just whip it out, man.
Who cares? But I can't do that. He's like I'm not gonna hold him up, because that trough's like
of course.
chest height on him. So I'm not gonna hold him up while he's trying to pee in there for the first time. He's gonna learn how to pee standing up. That's not gonna work.
No, that's not.
So I was trying to wait for the one stall that was in there while there were 3 or 4 other guys in front of me waiting for the stall as well. But none of them were using it for that purpose. They were doing it because they were too embarrassed to use the trough.
That's so weird.
So while standing there waiting, my kid, not understanding what's going on, wet himself.
Oh,
so we had to go home.
That poor kid.
I was not happy.
That sucks.
He thought I was mad at him.
Obviously,
no, of course not. Mad at him.
No, it's not his fault.
But I was. Not happy.
He was in the bathroom. He was doing everything he was supposed to be doing.
Yeah, yeah.
Can't be mad at him.
I was less than happy about the whole situation, though. So unfortunately, that cut our night short. We didn't get to watch the jet cars or anything like that.
Well, shit. So. That's too bad. Well, you would. That's so. I'm sorry. I'm still hung up on that. I think it's fucking weird because, like, let's just say you go to an Iowa State football game, and every guy that's in that bathroom is equally drunk as every guy that's at the drag races, and it's like they're touching shoulder to shoulder for like 50 fucking feet.
Yeah, who cares?
Just dick swinging, man. It's a bathroom.
Everybody's seen it before.
It's all they're all the same.
Who doesn't cares?
Matter. If you've seen one, you've seen them all.
I don't get it either, man. Like nobody's in there trying to scope out the competition.
Not at the drag strip, man. It's fine. Just go. Do your thing. Just stare at the wall. Fine.
I was like everybody else in there. Just look up.
Look at the ceiling or look at the wall.
Yeah.
It's bathroom
like everybody else. Assholes.
Oh, God. People ain't no good.
You're telling me. So, anyway.
Yeah. That weird penis tangent.
Yeah. Bathroom etiquette tangent. I don't know, man. It's fine.
Yeah.
So, this weekend I did get to drive the international pickup truck that my dad had bought that we talked about here a couple of weeks ago.
What do you think of it?
It's great. I love it. It's still choked, which I struggled to catch on to there for a little bit. I got it. I choked it out a little, or to get it started, and took off down the road and forgot to shut it off.
Oh,
I'm like, man, this thing idles high, Dad. Like
driving like shit.
it was me and Katie and Logan, and we were just cruising around town. And I'm like, man, I got to ride the brakes everywhere I go in this thing. It kind of like that's annoying.
Idles at 35 miles an hour.
But it is what it is, and I get back to my dad's house and pull up to him and shut it off, and he goes, it'd run a lot better if you shut that choke off. Like, yes, it would. Damn it. Damn it.
I can't laugh at you. I wouldn't have a freaking clue.
So totally forgot about that, but it was fine. It runs good, cruises down the road, just as smooth as a 60s truck can be expected to.
Yeah.
So
well, that's good.
But no, it was nice. It's a cool little truck to drive. So Logan thought it was neat.
That always helps.
So
is that a bench all the way across?
You betcha.
Nice. I like my bench seat.
Absolutely. That was back when they did that sort of thing still, which is great.
Hey, my truck's a bench.
My first car had a bench.
Oh man. I know I'm like I'm the weirdo that likes the bench seat in the front.
You could like comfortably go, dude, it's great for dates.
Fuck yeah. Sunday
could comfortably go 3 wide on the front.
Yeah, you put your arm around your chick.
It was great, dude.
I like it.
Yeah, it was awesome. Then I got my Cavalier, or my Escort, I guess, and the damn shifter's in the way, and it's just heck.
No.
So, but the only other thing I got, I think I actually may have sent you the wrong picture. I never got to go there during the day to take pictures of the actual car.
Okay.
So I Googled it, and I think I realized here that the one I sent you is a 2-door, not a 4-door.
The picture you sent me is a 2-door.
There's this 80s Mercedes-Benz.
Okay.
That is at a dealership in the town next to where my dad lives. And back in the day, as it were, there was a company called Koenig.
They're still like the wheel company or a different company?
Spelled the same, but I'm pretty sure not the same company.
Okay.
but they built like these wild, almost like Rocket Bunny style cars, but they were building them in the 80s.
Okay. Yep.
And so these things are like they're not too common anymore, and they're kind of valuable actually. So that one is the one that I saw.
I'm pulling up just a random picture. It's a 4-door, so whatever.
Yeah, the one I think is a
560.
I think it's a 420.
Oh, so
I think the 560s are all 2-doors.
No, the 560 SEL is a big 4-door, based on this picture.
Okay,
I'll see what.
Well, then maybe it is a 560.
I'm
not sure if it, but it is an AMG.
Okay.
It is the most cocaine 80s hilarious, amazing, awesome thing I've ever seen in my entire life, and I desperately want it.
Okay, I'm going with 560 just because it works. But
the side, the rear side skirts kind of have like the Ferrari Testarossa like strakes,
like halfway down the door.
Yep, halfway down the rear door.
Yep,
and it's got big lip dished wheels. And oh, dude, it's so cool. I'm sure there's a lot of people listening that know what a Koenig Special looks like. This one is the rattiest of ratty, and it is a real pile of trash.
What color is it?
Desperately needs, it's white.
Oh.
Desperately needs a rebuild. But when I was looking at them online, I found them for anywhere between $20,000 and $220,000.
Oh boy! What do they want for this one?
It had a sticker on the window that said, "This vehicle is not for sale."
Then why even have it out?
I just don't think that they have been able to put it away. So
such a unique car. I mean, you don't see those.
I'm sure it's not your thing. If I had to venture to guess,
it's more my thing than you would realize, but still not really my thing.
Because it's kind of ricey.
Yeah, it is. I could have a lot of fun in these cars,
dude. I would love it, and my dad doesn't get it. Katie doesn't get it. It's fine though. I want it.
You would look good in this.
Oh, dude, it's so cool to me,
and it would confuse everybody.
I think it's sweet. I would love it. So I think it's a V8. Although back in that era that you may have been able to get V12 Mercedes-Benzes. I'm not sure if that one is or not. It has no badges indicating what it actually was built on. The headrests say 420 SEL on them. I don't know if that 420 is a ha-ha joke.
Probably.
Or if it's really a 420 SEL. It's hard to say.
I was going to say, if anything that's 420 showing up on here does not look like what... Oh, here's one. Oh, that's even worse. Oh, man, the 560, I think it looks pretty good. 420, it looks like shit. That matches exactly what you're describing, though. The 560 looks good. I'm into that. The 420, no, not at all.
So that one was a 4-door. I don't know if you can get them as 2-doors. It seems like the 560 can be had as a 2-door, it looks like. So I don't know. I think it's so cool because it's so ridiculous and it's so painfully 80s. I just love it. I want it so bad.
Someone needs to find you one of these. You need it. This would be a great daily driver for you.
I would be a terrible daily driver.
Great. It'd be great. Be balling.
Terrible
you would
daily
be
driver.
Balling so hard.
So hard.
People
but it would be.
They wouldn't even know.
I doubt that it's reliable. It's probably gets terrible gas mileage, and I put a lot of miles on my vehicles.
We don't care about miles per gallon. We care about miles per gallon.
I do though, because I gotta get to work every day, man.
It's fine. We get more gas every day.
This one that sold for this one that was for sale, I should say. I don't know if it really sold for it or not, but was for sale for $220,000. Had a center console with a refrigerator built in and all kinds of ridiculousness.
I think more cars should have refrigerators in them.
Alligator door panel inserts.
I approve. Snake skin,
white.
alligator skin. I'm all about
It's
it.
white with either snake or alligator skin inserts, and then the carpet is red flannel.
Yeah, I'm in on that.
But the seats, the headliner, the primary color for the dash and the doors, all white leather.
That's awesome.
It's a real atrocity, man.
By atrocity, I mean beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, it's kind of funny to see that thing in small town Missouri, you know?
That would not be where I'd be expecting it.
Yeah, exactly. So I would love it. It would be the best little toy. It needs a full restoration. It was starting to rust around where the wheel wells or where the fender flares are, which I assume are fiberglass, which I also then assume means that there's no fender left underneath it.
That's a safe assumption. Yes.
So like it needs a complete restoration. It's pretty well trashed.
Yikes.
Which is a real disappointment. But it was cool, and it's just one of those things that, like, when you get to see, that's not something you see every day, you know. So hopefully, I can get back there in the daylight and get some pictures of it.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see what it looks like.
It's kind of in a dark corner. I just couldn't get any pictures that were worth.
Plus, your phone was dead.
Keeping. No, my phone wasn't dead. Actually,
you liar! It was at like no percent.
I got a brand new one.
Phone?
Yeah.
Jeez, money bags.
Got a new phone. Well, I had to.
I haven't had a new phone since I bought a Samsung Galaxy S5.
Well, so they released this new one called the SE, which is basically, I think, an iPhone 7 that they just changed the name of. And what I had before was a 7, and so that's what I got.
Oh,
like I didn't have to get a new case.
Nice.
It's the same like old wore out 1010s podcast Golf case.
Perfect. So. I have my mom's hand-me-down Galaxy S7.
Nice. Usually, it's the kid handing down to the parent when it comes to technology.
I'm the opposite.
Not Robbie.
No. Back in my day, they gave away phones for free with new plans. That was a good time. I like that. I don't like paying for phones. I want a free.
Now they just lock you into a payment plan for infinity, and then just roll it into your phone plan, and you don't even know any difference.
And it costs more expensive than your computer. I miss the flip phone days when it was like nothing. Like it was like a $30 phone. It was great.
I get it.
Life was simpler then, Adam. You know what drama you had then? None. You know what drama you have now?
Lots. Oh no, dude! I had tons of drama. I was in high school.
That's not real drama.
No, that's fair.
It's not like now where you're pissed off all the time.
That's fair, but I felt like it was real.
Yeah, but now
it was
looking
like
back,
life-ending stuff, man.
Yeah, we were like Mags. We're at school. And we wanted to be skating.
Well, that's fair.
Like now, I'm at work and I want to be skating.
Yeah, but then I got a phone, and all of a sudden, girl drama became a thing I had to deal with.
Oh, yeah. Mama said, "Don't trust these hoes,"
and she was right.
Mama was right.
Should we do the news?
Yeah, we might as well before we spiral. As always, our news is presented by Apex Pro, apextrackcoach.com. They have the Lap Timer Plus video recording as part of their subscription service of their app. So if you have their app, you can also get their Lap Timer Plus subscription, and it has all this extra data, and you can overlay the data and stuff like that over your video from the through the app. I honestly have not a lot of experience with it. I've just kind of seen their videos and seen what it does, but I know that a lot of people do that. It's like on the YouTube videos and stuff. So this is actually a really cool feature. So Apex Pro is really coming along. They have their lap timer unit, the Apex Pro, which, again, if you use our code, you can get a free window mount when you go on the website. The code is 10tenths. They also have the OBD2 scanner, or the logger that you can pair with the app. And that was actually what I was going to do. Like if I couldn't get my wiring harness back together and have my cluster work, I was just going to get some sort of way to hook up my iPhone to have the OBD2 unit from them. And that was just going to be good. That was going to be it. Like I'm not going to spend any more than what the Apex Pro has for their OBD2 data, and then that goes straight into the app, so you can have your predictive lap timer, your OBD2 data, and your then your normal lap timing and data logging stuff. So, yeah, I'm a big fan of Andrew and Apex Pro. So apextrackcoach.com. You should go there.
First up, everybody's favorite racer and TV personality, Tanner Faust, sets a land speed record with a 700 horsepower minivan.
So that's what Michael's been up to. Stops doing the podcast, goes back to being Tanner Faust, and now he's driving minivans. He's changed.
That makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense.
We've never seen them in the same room, and we haven't seen Michael in quite some time.
Well,
but now Tanner Faust appears to be coming back now that Michael has disappeared more. I'm just saying.
It all adds up, man.
Yep.
It all adds up. So this is not your average minivan, first of all.
What's the Mercedes minivan that's not a minivan?
It's an R63 AMG, which comes with a 6.2 liter V8 that made from the factory 450 horsepower.
Not small.
And then somebody put a supercharger on top of it, and it now makes 672 horsepower and 662 pound-feet of torque.
That's a lot. Like a lot.
It's ridiculous. So he ran through the standing mile at a little over 165 miles an hour.
That is booking it.
Which is hilarious.
I think it's got to weigh like, what, 5,000 pounds?
Yeah,
don't you think?
Probably.
That's a heavy vehicle. Because the R63 is a minivan, but it doesn't have sliding doors, so it's technically a wagon.
Yeah, I would call it a wagon.
So it's not really a minivan.
So there is an R63 AMG in Des Moines. I've seen it multiple times. I parked next to it at the zoo once. Parked next to it because I was hoping to meet the madman and give him the that nod where you're like, I know, and he'll know that I know.
Yeah, but
we don't have to say anything.
It's the same. It's the same nod as when you see a celebrity in public, but you're not that type of person to go bother them. You just kind of like you meet eye contact. You meet eyes, and you just kind of like you just tilt your head a little bit and give them that nod. Like, I know you.
Yep.
Same nod. But yeah, I agree.
So he did this at the Sandhills Open Road Challenge, which is held in Nebraska, and
say Bill's done that a handful of times.
Bill has done that with the STI that you were supposed to be in
for one lap. It's
one lap with
the one that I helped rebuild the engine.
I know a few of my friends from the Sioux Falls area that run in that every year. So I think that's kind of like one lap where it's very much like a family of people that run it.
Yep.
Like everybody that races it every year is like they're all friends, and like it's one of those atmospheres.
Yeah, it looks like it's a really
very
fun
hard
event
to get into, I think.
Right. I think that's true.
So, but I think here in the last 2 years they added a standing mile on top of their open road rally sort of high speed thing, and Tanner Faust took advantage of that and set was kind of frankly a silly world record.
Yeah, because it's got like an asterisk next to it. It's like street legal minivan speed record.
Right. So, because the local radio station that played my morning show has been turned into sports talk radio, the only morning show that I can stand anymore if I have to listen to a radio show is Bob and Tom.
Yep.
Which I don't love very much, but it's the best we have right now, which is really sad.
Yeah.
And because they have no sports to talk about, they've been doing this like where they'll talk about people who set stupid Guinness World Record things. And there's so many of these that are just like asterisk, asterisk, asterisk behind it to get so detailed and defined to be able to claim it as a record.
Yeah, it's just like patents. I mean, I can't remember. It was like an article saying that there's truly only like 7 real novel ideas, and everything else is some sort of like copy from that.
Yeah,
and that's basically what every record is like. Technically, its own record because it's slightly different than the other record that it wasn't better than.
Right.
It's like it's the fastest minivan, street legal, standing mile, asterisk asterisk asterisk.
Right. And they have it because nobody cares enough to try and keep it from them.
Yeah. So that means we have to go meet it, obviously.
Well,
just gear it up a little bit.
There's the guy who runs Bisimoto. He has I think twin turboed Honda Odyssey that makes 1,000 horsepower.
But is it street legal?
Yes.
Okay.
I think it's even California street legal.
Dang.
Right?
That's challenging.
And he 6-speed swapped it.
Ooh.
Yeah, and he should go out there and just totally smash this record.
Absolutely. Assuming
I feel like 165 isn't that hard to do, right?
Not with 600 horsepower. But yeah,
almost 7.
I think if you get decent gears in it, I mean, Dalton's could do that in 4th gear from sitting still.
From a stand.
It doesn't have to shift for once. It just stays in 4th gear. Fucking ridiculous.
Oh, Robbie, I just love how much you kind of hate that car.
But I love it.
Right. But at the same time, you really kind of hate it.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to truly love it because that's bullshit.
It's unfair how much better it is than the car I chose.
Yes. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Speaking of things that are ridiculous.
Hell yeah.
Mercedes AMG and Louis Vuitton have teamed.
Just the designer from Louis Vuitton. Louis Vuitton has nothing to do with it.
Well, okay.
Fair. I don't know why they thought they'd throw it out there.
Fair enough. Team up to design a AMG G63 air quotes race car for a charity auction.
Yeah, so they made one, and then they're making a copy, and they're selling the copy. But it's really...
And it looks...
I didn't think it was real. I thought it was a model.
Yeah, the pictures look like a model. It looks super fake. It looks like a little toy.
Yep. Yeah, so it's got like super wide fender flares and like really big over-the-top wheels and tires. And then what's really weird is
they have window nets in all 6 windows.
Yep.
Which is very strange.
And then it's like they painted it matte white and then just sanded through it down to the primer. So it's like, it looks like a really shitty paint job.
But shit, I thought that was a reflection from the picture.
No. They painted it and then like sanded right through it.
Oh, I thought that was a reflection in the picture.
No, sir.
Oh, that's even dumber.
Uh-huh.
This is worse than I thought it was to begin with.
And then the interior's weird.
So they took electrical tape and made X's across the fake headlights.
Yep.
And they did the same thing with red electrical tape over the vents for some reason.
I don't think that's tape, though. It looks like it's plastic.
No, it's probably some sort of plastic or like red stitched. You know, like the same thing they make the door pulls out of.
Right.
Or something like that. But it just looks stupid.
It looks like they painted the fire extinguisher, so it's matte red, too. Then it's got like a flat top and bottom steering wheel, which I'm sure is great to drive this vehicle in.
It's a Formula steering wheel.
Yes, but the Formula car only turns like 30 degrees in either direction to go lock to lock.
Right.
Whereas this one, you're going to have to do a couple spins.
Yeah. So it's being sold for charity.
Yep.
At Sotheby's.
It's an art piece. Let's be real here.
It's going to go for way more money than it should.
It's $1 million car.
Which is really upsetting.
And it's fugly.
It's so ugly, dude. And like, I have said before the Eddie car looks good as a race car, and I take it back.
Maybe if they brought it to the track like one time, but like it just doesn't look like it would do anything at the track. Nothing good.
No, probably not.
Everything's like a hot import night show car shit on it.
Yeah, it's stupid. The like baby blue accents of the cage, and I don't get it, man.
No, it's strange. It's a very strange setup.
And why that of all things?
I don't know. Maybe because they know the person that would spend this kind of money would buy this kind of car.
It's just upsetting. It's stupid. It's absurd. I don't like it.
Yeah, it's very weird. If you get a chance, you should go to the YouTube channel and check this out, or go to the Autoblog article and check out the pictures. It's weird. The whole thing's weird.
Yeah. Up next, Jeep is installing solar chargers off-road in the Rubicon and in Moab for their new plug-in hybrid Wrangler.
Which literally means they're putting charging stations in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
For their hybrid cars.
Right.
To advertise their electric cars.
Right.
The problem, it's stupid, but the problem is
it's so weird. And like the people who are gonna buy a hybrid Jeep are not the people who are taking them to Moab.
No,
they're the white chicks who live in suburban Des Moines who are gonna take it to the mall.
The problem is every moron with the Rubicon driving the Rubicon Trail is going to stop and take a picture at this, and it's going to work like hotcakes, and they're going to sell a shitload of them. That's what annoys me, is that this is going to work, and it's stupid.
You're not wrong. That's probably true.
Like I'm fine with like advertising the torque, like not focusing on miles per gallon, not focusing on the economy of it, just saying like, well, if you get this off-road Rubicon Jeep, the added torque of the electric motor at low speeds is, extra great for rock crawling and whatever. But it's to have a charging station in the middle of nowhere doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. And I've been saying this for years. When I was working at the solar panel place in Ames, they sold these solar panels that you could clip onto the top of your golf cart to charge your battery. And I looked at that and went, this is a great product. You never have to charge your golf cart. It just charges while you golf. Every electric car should have a solar panel roof.
Problem is, I don't think the amount of energy consumption from a golf cart is drastically less than what it takes to run a car.
Oh, I agree.
And the distance you're trying to travel with a car is drastically larger. And so I don't think we have solar technology that can keep up.
It doesn't have to keep up. Just has to like prolong. So let's say you add another 100
I don't
miles.
even know that it really does that, though.
Or if you let it sit in a parking lot all day, it'll bring it back up to 100%. It doesn't necessarily have to be a one-to-one, like if I'm driving, it stays charged situation. But if it could actually make your, I don't know, lack of a better term, like make your tank last longer, or charge it while you're parked rather than having to go find a station, that would be great. So like instead of having to go find these charging stations in the middle of nowhere, you could just stop and charge. That's what Jeep should be focusing on.
So Jeep claims this hybrid is the most capable Jeep they've ever made. Because not only does it get a claimed combined 50 miles per gallon and has an estimated 25 miles of electric only range, but also makes 470 pound-feet of torque with only a 2-liter 4-cylinder because it has electric motors in it. And so it's probably a rock crawling beast.
It probably is for 22 miles.
Well, I mean, so this is one of those where, like, you know how we love the idea of supercars that have like electric engines used as torque fill and torque assist. I think this is doing the same thing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So you don't run it on electric only while you're rock crawling. You run it on the hybrid setting where the gas engine is running and the electric engine is filling in the torque dips and helping you along. So,
yeah.
But it's kind of a brilliant little piece of machinery because it's the first one to market.
And they're marketing it correctly.
Yeah, probably.
And they're going to sell the ever-living shit out of them.
Yeah, probably.
Now, if they would have gone out and tried to advertise this as like this great fuel economy hybrid, it would fall flat on its face.
Yeah, probably.
But they know that every single Jeep needs to be the most capable Jeep. Last year's Jeep needs to be less capable than next year's Jeep, and for forever and ever. The next new Jeep has to be more capable in one way or another, so that whoever had the 2019 Rubicons are going to trade it into their 2021 Rubicons because it has 14 more extra torques. It's the most capable. Your Rubicon from last year is junk. It's not the most capable.
Yeah. You're not wrong, though, but it's like, man, I don't know.
Give me that $70,000 Jeep.
I'll bet you're not far off, though.
The hybrid
price
has to be 70 all day
for
long.
the hybrid one. Hell yes, man.
It's minimum is 56, maybe not all the way up to 70, but I'll bet it's in that range. 56 to 70 is my guess for what a hybrid Rubicon costs.
And if Ford doesn't have a hybrid Blazer, they better be scrambling to get it put together. Or not Blazer, sorry, Bronco.
Bronco. Yeah,
Bronco.
I thought they did. They had that.
I have no idea. There's so much going on around that thing that I've given up trying to keep track of it.
Until I see one on the street, I really don't care. Give me prices.
We have a former guest that has his order in on one.
Oh, really?
Yes, Luke with Lifestyle Off-Road. When we talked to him, and the boys down at Zion.
Yep, I remember.
He sold his Xterra and has a down payment on a Bronco.
Nice.
So,
according to Autoblog's website, the Rubicon 4-door 4x4 has a retail price of $42,000. I don't think that's right. Nope, that's a Wrangler Limited.
That's not a Rubicon.
Nope, that's a Wrangler Limited.
I'm sure it's more money than that.
It has to be. Yeah, that's just a Wrangler Unlimited.
Yeah.
No, it says Rubicon. I don't know. $42,000 for a Jeep? Seems lower than I was expecting, actually. That can't be right. Maybe I'm way off.
That's to start. You got to start optioning up, though, man.
True.
It's the accessories that really get you in the nuts.
Well, yeah, that $4,000 winch.
Yeah. And the cloth top and the hard top and the I don't know, whatever they get you for, all the custom lights and bullshit.
Well, if you get the 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo, that jumps you up to $50,000 right off the start.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Jesus, that's crazy. That's so crazy. I don't get it.
Me neither. This starts at $29,700, so I guess you don't have to spend $60,000 on it.
But find me one on the lot that's actually $29,000.
Oh no, and that's just the Sport.
You know what I mean?
That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 levels, and Sport is the worst. Rubicon, the best, starting at $40,000.
They start at Sport though.
Yeah.
That's where a lot of people end. Jeep starts there.
Yep.
Damn, they fancy.
Yep. Sport S, Unlimited Sport, Islander, Willis, 80th Anniversary Edition, Sahara, and Rubicon. Those are your
Islander, huh?
I don't know what that is.
I've never heard of one called that before.
Me neither. But it's your It's your 4th worst option, or your 5th best option, or 5th from the best.
Huh. I think that's all we got, Robbie. I think we done did a show.
We did a great show. The best show.
Right.
This is the best podcast we've done all week.
That's fair. So far.
Yeah. And it's the
Week's
best.
not over yet.
It is the best podcast you listened to for the last hour and a half.
That's probably fair too. Assuming that you listen to it in one shot.
Well, I obviously, because I mean, once you start, you don't stop. Everyone listens to the end.
That's
They
fair.
stop what they're doing. They make their trips last longer. Once you start 1010's podcast, everything else just falls away.
Like a can of Pringles.
Yeah, you can't just pop it without stopping.
Once you pop, the fun don't stop.
Is that the title of the show?
I think it is. Yes, I think that's exactly what the title of the show is.
Wait till the outro to say, "Here's the title." Okay, see ya.
It'll be like when we did that. We had that show called Mandela Effect,
And we
it was
casually
like
mentioned it like one time at the end.
at the very end of the show, and like the YouTube did really well.
The fucked up thing was that people listened from like for a 2-hour episode, listened to the whole thing, listen to us talk about Hondas and minivans, and there's like a random episode, and then we get to the end and we casually mention Mandela Effect, and then people get all mad because the whole podcast wasn't dedicated to it. It's like,
What is this shit?
the entire description said exactly what the show was about, and the 200 episodes before us, nothing to do with conspiracy theories. Well, besides the random conspiracy theories we talk about.
Somebody like was legit mad at us in the YouTube comments.
I think
I remember replying to him, "You must be new here."
Yes, and they were. Oh man, the YouTube's so weird.
It's a very strange place.
Yep. But I think that's it for this week. We'll probably be back for another show next week. Probably.
Sure.
I'm going to say we'll see you guys next week, but I make no promises. So I'll see you guys next week.
Bye.